Hello guys. Well, here's my little jar aquarium. I'd like to talk about it today. I have this little betta in here who used to be in the same spot but in a slightly larger jar aquarium, and that one got taken over by cyanobacteria, but floating plants were doing really well, even though the cyanobacteria was growing on their roots and kind of around the edges of the leaves. And it seemed to really like this spot and the lighting. This is my son's room. My two boys share this room. This is just a desk lamp for their desk, and I needed a light, so I put the jar aquarium here so they could have a fishy in their bedroom. These fish were meant to be their fish. So I was planning on not using this jar aquarium anymore, and I was going to retire it because I did think it was too small. It was always supposed to be a temporary aquarium, and it was an emergency situation where, I'm not sure if I've said it before, but the two female bettas that we picked out at Petco, I told my kids that you know, I knew female bettas could get along together in a tank. I didn't know much other than that, and so I said, okay, you know, we'll pick out two females and put them in the jar aquarium. That's roughly 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons, probably closer to 1.5 gallons. So I put this female betta in there, and then I added the second one, and when I added the second one, she started kind of darting at this one, and it was going on. She would dart at her like every few seconds, and it was clear that she wasn't going to get along with this female betta. Well, anyways, I did more research and found out that it is kind of hard to have a betta sorority, and when you do have a betta sorority, it should be in like a 10-gallon or larger aquarium, and even then there can be one female that doesn't want to get along with the other fish. So they all have their own personalities, and some are more peaceful. Like this one is very peaceful, and I think if she'd had another peaceful tank mate, she could get along with that fish very well. And there's a glare here that I'm not seeing. So anyways, okay, so this was the emergency vase jar that I had on hand when I separated the two. I put the other one just back in the cup that she came in, and I was going to bring her back to the store. And then I remembered that I had this, so I pulled it out. It wasn't being used, and I quickly set it up, added a little dirt and some sand, and I took the Anubias that I had on hand that was in my goldfish aquarium and put it in. So this has been going on since late June, early July. I've had this going, and it's now October, first week of October, and I had planned to take it apart and last month and disassemble it, and it wasn't I don't even think it was being used for a little bit, but yeah, then the other jar that this betta was in with the cyano, it just kept coating the sand on the bottom, and whenever I took measures to combat it, it just made it worse. Like the small water changes wasn't making it worse. When I did like a full 90% water change, that made it worse. And I don't know if it's the lava rock or the floating plants. You know, it might have come in on the floating plants. And there's really not a lot of nutrients other than maybe some phosphates that were in that aquarium. But, you know, with me getting the betta poop, I just suck it out every other day. So there wasn't like any nitrates. And I did another video on that. I just haven't gone around to uploading it yet. But yeah, there weren't any nitrates in the aquarium, and I think cyano likes to take hold when there aren't any nitrates, and probably when there are like more phosphates in the water. But I was doing water changes on that like once a week. But as you can see, it's a good thing I kept this because I didn't have another place to put this betta. And she's happy. She's been in here for, I guess, a month now. I do weekly water changes on this. Just enough to suck out the poop and any little bits. I'll take the water down halfway. But yeah, I mean, this is the smallest I would ever go. For some, this is too small. Again, this was never my intention to use this. But yeah, even that other jar aquarium that I had is probably on the smaller side as well. It's the gallon jar. I think I said 2. Yeah, it's probably more like a gallon. I don't estimate water very well. So yeah, this might be too small for most people. But I just want to say, it's been a lifesaver. It's been an easy aquarium to maintain. The fish have never gotten sick. I feed them sparingly every other day. And I've fed them up to 8 bloodworms every other day. And they gobble them down. They never leave food. They gobble it all up. The only food that they might miss is the bug bites. Because if I put the bug bites in here, it'll float. It'll start sinking after a few seconds and sink behind the fish, and then she doesn't see them. And then I wonder, is she going to find them later? And once they get to that sand, it's hard to see the bug bites. But yeah, the food gets eaten. And you just gotta find a food that works for you. I feed this one just betta pellets, the bug bites and the bloodworms. And I just cleaned the jar today. It has a little bit of cyanobacteria in here. But you know what I did? I found this powder that I used to treat the 40. Because the 40 was getting cyano and I couldn't get rid of it. And it was taking over some of my plants. And I treated the 40 with the blue-green algae. I'll have to look it up. But it took care of the blue-green algae or cyanobacteria in the 40. After 3 or 4 days, it's now gone. So I took the leftover water I had that was treated water, and I filled it up when I did my water change today. So this one, the cyanobacteria is probably going to be gobbled up and eaten within a day or 2 or 3, and I shouldn't have it in here anymore. But that's why there's no more floating plants. I was getting tired of them and seeing the cyanobacteria, and it just didn't seem like they should be in here with such low nitrates. You know, there was no food source really for the floating plants with the weekly water changes. So there aren't any in here currently. And the floating plants weren't doing the best. And you can tell when they're not doing well is when their leaves are turning brown and their roots are shrinking. So yeah, that's just a quick update. Maybe a long update. But I just wanted to show you, you know, there might be haters out there. There might be people who love this, and it's not like it's wrong, it's not bad, it's not good. It is what it is. It's worked for me. The betta fish is happy in here. Will this be its long-term home? Probably not. But I don't know. It's not hurting the betta. She's happy, she's healthy. I think the success to this is using the sand and even the soil. I would probably do a little less soil next time and more sand. But I think, you know, I do not gravel vac this. I just siphon off the top and get, you know, some fresh filtered, my house filtered well water is what I use. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'd love to answer them for you if I didn't answer them now. And I would love to hear you guys. Let me know how much you like this. If you don't like it, it's not for you. You know, I've explained why I did this, and I've explained that it has been a success, not a failure. So don't hate it. If you hate it, don't do it. You want a bigger tank? Go get a bigger tank. I don't have a lot of room for all those larger tanks, and I wanted my kids to have some enjoyment. And I wasn't even going to get a betta. I was going to get like a small tetra or something, like a nano fish. But I just love the bettas. We all fall in love with them, and they're pretty. And they don't need filtered water. I mean, like water with a hang on back. They don't need that. And I got my inspiration for this from other YouTubers and MD Fish Tanks and Father Fish. And those are the people that I enjoy watching, and you know, they have a lot of knowledge. And Ocean Aquarium, they have Starbucks cups with deep sand beds with bettas. So this was an experiment to see how the deep sand bed would work, and that's the way I want to do jar aquariums. You got to do the deep sand bed. It's good for the nitrifying bacteria to live in. If you don't know about it, look it up. It's not on YouTube very much, and that's why I started following Father Fish. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and bye for now.